governance to be effective, there needs to be a focus on two aspects. The first one are the hard artefacts of governance, the policies, the procedures, the structures, the matrices. But those alone won't result in good governance. What we also need is a focus on the soft governance aspects and their dynamics and relationships. And what I wanted to talk about in this episode is the board and management relationship, because at the beginning of the year, it's a really good time to set that up for success for the year. So if we think about the board and management relationship, what we're seeing in contemporary governance structures is a very collaborative one where there's a recognition that board and management are working together to achieve company purpose and strategy. But beneath that, there's really a continuum. So on the one hand, on the one end of the continuum, boards are there to support and mentor management. It's a really important part of the board's role. On the other end of the continuum, boards also need to constructively test, challenge, and also hold management to account. Getting the balance right between those continuums is important. So what are the consequences if you don't? Well, to start with, if all the board's doing is supporting and mentoring management, they run the risk of becoming cheerleaders. And indeed, we've seen some high-profile cases recently where arguably boards have not held charismatic, high-performing CEOs to account, only to find that there's been various things the CEOs have been doing that perhaps they should have been aware of and taken action on earlier. On the other end of the spectrum though, where the board's holding management to account and really challenging management, there runs a risk that management will feel that they're not supported. They might indeed become defensive, and in worst case, they might actually stop reporting in an open and transparent way to the board. And of course, we don't want to sit at either end of those bookends. What we want to do is get a balance and come back to the middle as much as possible. So what are some ways in which we can do that? Well, I think there's 4 things for boards to think about. Firstly, what are the principles on which the board and management relationship is going to operate? Sitting down, talking about those and documenting them can be useful. And at the same time, I think it's really useful to think about mutual expectations. What does a board expect of management? But what does management expect of the board? Again, sit down, talk about them, document them. Thirdly, really clear delegations of authority which set out what the board reserves for itself and what the CEO can decide from a financial and operational perspective is absolutely key. The beginning of the year is a really good time to review those and make sure that they're current. And fourthly, communication. Regular catch-ups between the chair and the CEO in between meetings is really important to keeping dialogue open and building a trusting relationship between board and management. But also, open communication is a key part of board meetings, creating the right environment for board meetings where people feel safe to be able to speak freely and challenge in a constructive way. So setting your board up for success in its relationship with management in 2025 is going to be a key area for many boards.